Spurs are starting to get a bit of consistency. The question I have for you, I guess, is are they capable of having consistency with this squad right now? Firstly, I guess between now and the end of the season with that fight for top four, but then moving down the road into the summer where you're going to make some changes. Is this squad good enough?
I mean, the struggle with Spurs at the moment is they're still inconsistent. There is a genuine trend as to when they get consistency going. Against a low mid-block, Burnley, Middlesbrough, Wolves, Southampton, they struggle. Those are games where they can't break teams down. In open games against Leeds, Everton, Brighton, and even Manchester United, you could argue they're more effective. Looking at the remaining fixtures, they probably can continue the way they're going. They've got to play Norwich, Newcastle, Brighton, and Villa as well in the rest of the season. And those are games that they can definitely win, because in open football, they can beat practically nearly every team in the league. They have beaten Manchester City. They have troubled Liverpool. My problem is, against the teams that are just going to sit in, Spurs don't have a midfielder who can carve teams open. Conte became best pals with Eriksen towards the end of his Inter spell after leaving Eriksen out in the dark for a while, because he realized they needed a player to pass between the lines, and they don't have that at Spurs. Kulusevski's been a great addition. He's been in great form.
Well, they've gotten Ndombele and Lascelles. Oh, no,
they don't. No, they don't. And that for me right there is Spurs' biggest problem. I think they will address that in the summer when the time comes. The big thing for me is Harry Kane in that position is your guy who can play between the lines. Yeah. But he's also the guy you need on the other end of it to score your goals. I think Kane might be somewhere near back to his best, but I don't know if that's what Spurs need. And if it is, then maybe you need a different player playing up front, because Kane can't do everything.
Yeah. Do you know what I think provides that little bit of consistency that they're looking for is actually Kulusevski, because Kulusevski, what he offers them, when you look at their average positions, is previously it's been Son and Kane kind of isolated up top, and then the rest of the team. Now with Kulusevski, you've got another player up there. So it makes more sense when Kane drops in, because he's got a runner there. And also the defense that they're playing against when they counter-attack, or just generally, they have to kind of stay a little bit more honest and stay within their line, because again, Kulusevski could get on the ball and could run beyond and could do all those things. So I think that is adding to the consistency that they've got. And when we get into this sort of squad overhaul that might come in the summer, I still think that top four race is up, that, you know, it's available to them because of those two changes that have been made. Bentancur, I think, has come in and done brilliantly. His abilities to roll players, take them out of the game, and then start an attack where you've got Kulusevski and Kane and Son up there. And then, as I've said, Kulusevski a couple of times, I think he's helping them a lot as well in terms of the overall shape, because even the players like Matt Doherty all of a sudden has turned into a decent wing back for them when they've been struggling as much as they have done. How many changes, though, when you talk about that initial quote at the start of the video here with Conte and his vision and fighting for the title, how is it a total overhaul? Is he papering over the cracks at the moment? Or is it just, are they 3 players away?
I think it is, as you said, they're probably 3 players away, but 3 players away from what is the question? Are you saying 3 players away from a title charge? Or are you saying...
I mean, that's Conte's vision. He has a vision. It's a very specific vision.
3 players away from a title charge means none of the other teams doing anything. That is a stretch. I think they've got their centre-back area basically fixed. Christian Romero is outstanding. And I think the way they attack now is Lloris gives it to him and he starts the attack, which is why Doherty is now looking better, because they've got that security in behind him. But then on the flip side, I'm thinking they still need a number 10. Where are they going to get one from? They're not available left, right, and centre. Mr. Paulo Dybala is out of contract in the summer, and that feels like a nice fix. Someone who can play between the lines, someone who's got a bit of that flair that they require. The wing-back area is where I'm really looking. Like, Doherty has looked better, but his XA is 1.7 this season. Someone like Reece James is where Conte wants his wing-backs at 4.3 XA, which is very high, but that is sort of the level that Conte would need for his team to do well. Those are the 2 areas I'm thinking. But you said 3. Where's the 3rd player that you're trying to plug in?
I still don't think the centre-backs are completely sorted out. You're going to want to play 3 and you want to start from that point as well. I also think Lloris has been signed again. I still think you could probably get a better goalkeeper. I know it's a dangerous thing to say. And then there's depth beyond that as well. So I think there are some changes that obviously need to happen. In terms of that overhaul, you're going to be able to attract better players if you're in the Champions League. And Spurs are still fighting for it and have got a huge game this week. And I think we all sort of caught up in the hullabaloo, I guess, of West Ham over the last 24 hours and what they've done there in that victory against Sevilla. It was amazing, absolutely amazing night. You could hear it coming through the TV screen. But it was a very emotional night for West Ham as well. It did really feel like they've been waiting for the London Stadium to feel like home for a long time. And that was the kind of moment that they needed, you know, achieving in Europe, achieving with players that they like, players that have the hunger. But they now step into a derby game where they've won 3 of the last 4 Premier League London derbies, which is good for them. But they have struggled against Spurs in the past. Spurs have lost just 2 of their last 19 Premier League home games against West Ham. Huge game for both teams. Can West Ham pick themselves up emotionally from that game on Thursday and physically, I guess, as well, and get something against Spurs?
Well, this could be one of those where momentum is a big thing in football, and you've just pulled off one of the biggest wins in West Ham's history, the first English side to actually beat Sevilla in the Europa League, which is a big deal because Liverpool have failed, Manchester United have failed, other sides have failed, and Sevilla are the masters of the Europa League. So they could be coming into this game thinking, you know what, we've got the momentum, we're at the top of our powers, if you like, where the fans are on board. David Moyes is suddenly getting the praise that he deserves. But they take on a Spurs side that will really relish playing against a potentially tired West Ham side. Spurs have had that rest. Conte doesn't like playing European football if he wants to shoot for the stars in the Premier League. So I'd have to side with Spurs in the sense of who's got the advantage. But emotionally, that feeling of we can do anything. I wonder if West Ham go into this thinking, we've just done the impossible in the Europa League. We've just drawn Lyon, which isn't the worst draw in the world. Could we go and win the Europa all the way? If you're David Moyes, are you right now saying, let's forget about top 4. Let's put all our eggs in that Europa League basket? Because if we win Europa League, that is the impossible.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there's so many big teams in the Europa League. I think that's one problem. They've got Lyon, which is a tough tie. And Ndombele might be, I guess he might be cup tied for that one, actually, thinking about it. Do you know what I think is a huge thing for West Ham? Because you would look at this game and go, oh, not Spurs, not now. But Spurs, when you play Spurs, the best thing you can do is kind of sit back, be tight, be compact, don't overexert yourself and leave yourself some spaces in behind. So I wonder if they would look to kind of stink out this game a little bit and see what they can do in the second half. Antonio played 120 minutes pretty much, and they weren't sure if he was even going to start that game. He had a problem with his adductor, I think. And so without him, that's going to make life a little bit difficult. Jared Bowen, of course, is out as well. So they are a little light right now, but I wonder, I know we don't like to sit on the fence on ESPN, but I just wonder if a draw for West Ham is actually
sitting on the fence.
It's actually quite a good result though for West Ham in this game when they've gone through what they've gone through, because I think Spurs, if they're smart, should smell blood here, but when they go for it, they leave gaps in behind. So I actually think this might be a draw. But Spurs and Kane will be expecting to get on the score sheet and win the game. I think it's another good test for Conte's side to decide how good are they against a good team that can defend really well for themselves. Can you break them down? I'm not sure if they've got it just yet. So I think they might be a draw. What do you think?
I'm going to back Spurs for the win. I think West Ham will be knackered despite all the emotion I've been talking about. I'm quite convinced West Ham will come into this absolutely blowing. Kane in form, Son in a little bit of form, Kulusevski in form, Doherty's playing well. I back Spurs to squeeze through this and then probably start to mount this real top 4 challenge, not this kind of top 4 challenge. But let us know what you guys think in the comments below. Will it be Spurs? Will it be West Ham? And who will finish in the top 4?
Hi guys, James Alcott here from ESPN's Football Forecast. Thank you for watching. If you've enjoyed the video and you want to check out more, make sure you subscribe to ESPN UK.